Well, hello. It's that time again. Welcome everybody back into Crypto's News, here where we give you the no BS, no filter, not paid for in the background by some sort of sponsor information on what's going on in crypto to keep you informed and make sure that you're well positioned to not only survive but hopefully thrive in crypto. And it's a real treat to be here today. I wasn't able to put out a video yesterday, very busy teaching music lessons. I teach drums and piano, and today was the same, but I couldn't let another day go by without giving you guys an update. Yeah, and I should announce that because I'm so busy, I will probably just be creating an AI version of myself, and then I'll feed it a prompt and then have it give you guys the news as much as possible. So I'll probably be going away now and seeing you guys later on. But it's been a real treat to be here with y'all. What's up, Dreamcatchers? No, I'm just kidding. April Fools. Gotcha. But I probably would if I could have my face come out here in front of you guys more often in my exact style, giving you guys the news. I would probably be for it, but I haven't found a manageable way to set that up just yet. So you get RL Acoustic Omar here. What's up? Let's go, Peter. Well, welcome. Yeah, Mr. Milton. What's up, Jackknife? So happy to have you guys here. You guys are OGs. And it's so nice to just share this space with y'all who I know have been in the game for a minute and are really deep into it. So without further ado, we're going to get into it. And I did, however, prompt for a report on trending stuff in crypto. So maybe I'll share that with y'all. And I think it was quite valuable what it spit out. I think there's something about harnessing technology as a tool, of course, to just better ourselves and our own knowledge. So I just completely ignore the elephant in the room, which is AI. So maybe I'll share some of that. But anyway, let's go ahead and share what I personally have collected with you guys while I had the AI on the side drawing up a report. ChatGPT's 03 mini high. I went ahead and put together my own, so you guys can decide which one's better. Anyway, I hope it's me. Let's go ahead and look at the prices. We got Bitcoin up 2.9% over the last 24 hours. Wow, nice to see some green here. $85,052, picking up from the lower end of the 80 region, which is being called a major support level, and maybe heading up as we move forward toward reaching our next resistance, which is around $88,000. But really the big one here is around $95,000. And if we can breach that with strength, then we could very likely be calling it a bull market again. But for now, it's just a correction at this point. And we'll see if it turns into something deeper. Ethereum is knocking on the $1,900 door. It's at $1,896, and it is up 4% over the last 24 hours. One of the strongest climbers here in the top 10. Yeah, it is the strongest performer here in the top 10. We have Dogecoin currently up only 3.6%, up to 17 cents, but we have Ethereum again up a nice 4% clip there. And we have to go all the way down to Sui over here to see anything higher than the gains that we're seeing with Ethereum today. Sui up 4.9% at $2.39. We have Hedera up 3.3% here with their H bar and so on. I believe earlier I had saw Avalanche was up quite a bit, up 3.9%. And it is one of those projects that was trying to push the space forward. The guy who created it, I interviewed him on the show, my earlier show before I deleted it. And that's Emin Gun Seer. I can never pronounce it, even after asking him how it's pronounced. I'm sorry, Amin. But anyway, he is a Cornell professor previously. He had created a peer-to-peer digital currency, you could call, before even Satoshi Nakamoto back in 2003 when he created Karma with a K, and since then gone on to get excited by the space after such incidents as the big DAO one that happened which brought down Ethereum to its knees. But looking at this got him super interested in the space, and he was thinking about consensus, maybe a new novel way that didn't follow traditional mining and didn't necessarily follow the normal proof of stake protocols, yet still has it has resistance to 51% attacks, fast throughput by not having all the nodes have to listen to every other node. So yeah, definitely one to watch out for. I don't think it's going away just yet, and it's nice to see it still up here in the sense that it's probably going to be staying around here and have sticking power. So not one to ignore, I would say, AVAX here. But yeah, just looking at what's going on overall, market cap's up, looking good. Eric Crown wrote this, someone that I might be interviewing again soon. I believe we've had two before. And he said, a respectable trader, I don't know if the bull market is on or off, but BTC 30% off of the all-time high is investable in my opinion. If holding long term, like 5+ years down the road, absolutely, as we talk about constantly, we've seen the charts, 30% corrections are the norm. The fact that we didn't really see that during the so-called bull market before this drop that we've gotten was, I guess, a little concerning, right? There's been a lot of talks about how the 4-year traditional cycle that Bitcoin has had because of its halvening and hype around it and subsequent crashes, that might change. So I do wonder if that has changed, and we'll definitely get more data and statistics surrounding that as we go over the next few years just to get more an example of what we're headed. But for now, I still think 30% totally normal, and if anything, just washing out so that we can build again anew something maybe even higher than what we saw previously. Also, we have Vitalik's father. So Dima.eth converted to Solana. You'll thank me later. You know, like, I hate April Fools. I'm not going to lie. Like, I don't even like to do these videos, but I feel like I'm just going to find bogus crap everywhere. And this is one that I almost fell for. But then I looked at his face and I was like, I thought he looked a little bit older than that. What's going on here with the Solana chain? I was like, oh, it's AI. Dang it, got me. Converted to Solana, you'll thank me later. So I guess the reverse of that would be stayed in Ethereum. You're welcome. I don't know, guys. Anyway, let me know what your favorite April Fool's things that you might have even fallen for are down below in the comments. I would love to hear what you guys encountered out in the wild. But yeah, so I tried to keep this video somewhat minimal to avoid as much of it as I could. But Michael Saylor, apparently, he tweeted this out. Eric Trump and Donald Trump Jr. are launching American Bitcoin, aiming to become the largest Bitcoin miner. So globally, and build a Bitcoin reserve, maybe with what they mine plus what they confiscate. Could it be purchases? Perhaps that's what's being hinted here. The Trumps believe in Bitcoin. Yeah, Eric Trump has been all over crypto, and even talking about buy Ethereum, unfortunately, like right around the recent top, saying you'll thank me later. So there's that quote again. And it has not played out. So right now he's not very popular in Ethereum land, but I think it's good to have the support of someone who is very close to those who are, shifting the optics around this whole space, I think positively. So really cool to see. JP Morgan has apparently been hired along with Citibank to help with Circle's IPO. So Circle is the company that produces the USDC stablecoin, and they are getting ready to launch the Circle stock. So it says here, Circle, according to Cointelegraph, the issuer of USDC has hired JP Morgan and Citi for its long-awaited IPO initial public offering, with a public filing expected by late April. Yeah, I guess it's a little too late for an ICO, at least for now. So I guess they'll go the traditional rails and use an IPO system, which makes absolute sense with the folks who run that company and their deep ties to the financial industry. And why does this matter? I guess you guys could make some money off of it, perhaps by buying Coinbase stock, because Coinbase is a big piece of how the distribution for USDC on behalf of Circle occurs. And they pay quite a lot. They make a lot of money, Circle, by earning interest on the dollars that they have on reserve to issue out these stable coins that are pegged to $1. So yeah, they make interest, but quite a hefty amount of that goes over to Coinbase. I do wonder, though, if that means that they'll try to move away from their ties to Coinbase specifically and over to some other affiliate, maybe even doing it in-house, especially now since profits will matter even more quarter over quarter since they will have a stock. So yeah, this is expected by late April, and just wanted to give you guys a heads up that they're the new company going public. More and more crypto companies going public, which is good. It kind of grows crypto globally in the private sector versus doing it from top-down government control, which I personally would rather not see as much. But we are definitely getting a little bit of that with what's going on with Trump. So this is basically what I'm talking about there in the title of this video. Wall Street bounces back ahead of tariff clarity. So if you haven't heard, tomorrow is Liberation Day, where I don't know why they name it these things. It just sounds nice, right? So Trump is calling it Liberation Day, and that's the day when many or most of the goods that are entering the United States are expected to face tariffs upwards of 20%. Trump has said that he doesn't care at all if car prices go up, and this will likely affect the price of pretty much everything that we buy. And the markets have been trying to get their heads around this. Tariffs on, tariffs off, tariffs on, tariffs off. Buy, sell, buy, sell. It's like people are getting exhausted. So I really hope whatever happens tomorrow just brings us some sort of clarity and resolution. I think that's what the markets are looking for the most. So this article here talks about, and I actually use Newsmax money because they just had their listing on the New York Stock Exchange, and they had a crazy run up. Where is it? It actually mentions it down here. They debuted to a 700% surge with their stock, Newsmax, on their debut, I guess yesterday on Monday. They jumped 62%, it says here, a conservative news outlet. Yeah, they've been around for some time. I had not really heard very much about them because apparently their main demographic are older, affluent boomers, and clearly I fit into that, but I'm slacking, so maybe I should be reading more Newsmax. But anyway, they talk about this and how things have been very volatile in this article. They talk about stocks bounding up and down. I think what's going on today is really the market saying, yeah, we have sold off quite a bit. Let's see what the reality is tomorrow once we get these tariffs, or we don't. If we don't, I could imagine that could propel things higher. On the chance that we do, maybe we've already sold off enough that we won't dump much further, and that has already, some of these tariffs, been reflected in the price. That is something that this article points to being a real possibility about. Anyway, yeah, tomorrow's going to be a big day. We will see what happens. I have no exact predictions. I do feel like perhaps the worst is behind us. However, we have folks like over at Goldman Sachs raising the probability of a U.S. recession from to 35%, which is higher, 15% higher than the 20% estimation that they previously held. And they expect, however, the U.S. to have more interest rates cuts due to this recession possibility. So yeah, something we're hearing also from Arthur Hayes, BitMEX CEO, who recently was dropped. All the cases against him, right? He's been pardoned presidentially, along with the other co-conspirators or co-founders of BitMEX. Good for him. He can continue to share his thoughts, and he does feel like we're going to be seeing a Fed that is keener to lower interest rates, which would propel things like Bitcoin, Ethereum, risk assets higher. On the other flip side, it's been actually interesting because we have been seeing gold reach a new all-time high, so breaking about $3,000, and it is inversely correlated to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin 2.0 actually dropping while you have gold hitting new highs, as older or traditional investors, I guess, or bigger investors, or whoever it is, seems to be taking the traditional approach to hedging by buying something like gold. So Peter Schiff is pretty happy right now, although it looks like he had laryngitis. I don't know if you watched one of his recent videos, maybe his last one, and he is, his voice is struggling out here. Less bad to say about Bitcoin. Waste your breath on something better. But yeah, anyway, cool on gold to see. So gold proving a hedge and not going away, it seems, anytime just yet. GameStop looks like they did manage to raise the $1.48 billion or $1.5-ish billion they were trying to raise after deducting the initial purchasers' discounts, commission, other expenses. They're left with $1.48 billion that they can use for general corporate purposes, they announce, or for the acquisition of Bitcoin, or actually including the acquisition of Bitcoin in a manner consistent with the company's investment policy. So we do know that they've been sitting on huge piles of cash. What was it? Something like $5 billion worth of cash that's just sitting there losing money to inflation. They want to put it somewhere better. I can't imagine their general corporate purposes. Well, maybe they could, I guess. I don't know how big the bonuses tend to be, but yeah, Wall Street bonuses probably already passed, and so did end of the year bonuses. So for the most part, I think a good amount of this money will be going toward acquiring Bitcoin. So a new player here, a major player with big, deep pockets that is dipping into Bitcoin and accruing more of it, less pie that is going to be available to folks. And once you wet yourself a little bit, once you dip your toes, once you set up that infrastructure, once you get investors, shareholders on board with this idea, and it does prove fruitful, as we've seen with Bitcoin over any serious length of time, surely there could be bigger purchases in the future. So MicroStrategy turns to strategy, GameStop becomes crypto stop. It's just what seems to be happening, guys. I'm calling it right here, right now. You're affluent? Just kidding. April Fools. Affluent? No, I guess I have nothing to complain for. I'm comfortable. I have a lovely fiance, lovely pets that I can take care of. I get to have this time with you guys. Well, I'm basically making nothing. Shout out to you guys who do help out, of course, with Patreon and YouTube and the occasional donation. For the most part, this doesn't pay the bills, but because I am able to not have to work maybe I do work 3 jobs. I started driving some Uber Eats because it's fun. I do enjoy exploring the area. I like delivering to people and seeing their smile when they're starving. I like the control. I like to be able to take breaks. I like to enter restaurants and see what I'm going to eat next time. Like I had delivered this place called Golden Chick, which I never heard about, but is a thing here in Texas. It's like an upgraded KFC, let's call it. And I had picked up food and delivered it from there, and I was like, dang, this is the place. This is the place when I get a craving next that I'm going to want. And sure enough, my partner and I went yesterday, and I will say Golden Chick, mad props. Roasted chicken is on point. Fried chicken is great. Oh, man, I'm clearly hungry, aren't I? But anyway, yeah, I'm doing that. I'm teaching music, and this crypto doesn't pay that much, but I'm doing that on the side. So I like the freedom of having 3 jobs versus 1 job where I'm just pigeonholed into it and losing my mind. And even teaching music, right? I'm teaching piano and drums. So even that gets split up, my own attention. Although I feel like I could teach piano all day. The drums, yeah, it does get to you eventually after a little bit. But anyway, this is a crazy story moving forward here. A woman accidentally bins 3 million pounds Bitcoin fortune in the worst mistake ever. Ellie Hart tossed out a USB flash drive while she was spring cleaning. Dang, who thought spring cleaning would come back and bite us in the butt? But here we are. But she didn't realize it was where her partner Tom, age 36, was keeping their cryptocurrency in the worst mistake ever. So she's 34, primary school teacher. She said it was just sitting there, this USB stick that held the keys to 3 million pounds worth of money. It was just sitting in a drawer with old receipts, dead batteries, and tangled wires. I assumed it was one of my school memory sticks and threw it out without thinking. So more lost crypto. And there's Tom, age 36, days later, couldn't find the flash drive. So he asked the web developer, his wife Ellie, he quizzed, where have you seen my USB stick? And she said, he asked if I'd seen a little black USB stick he uses for his Bitcoin, and I froze. I knew instantly that it was her fault. I shouldn't be laughing. This is really tragic. My heart just sank. I told him I think I threw it away. I felt absolutely sick. We even emptied afterwards rubbish bags, tore open bin liners. There was this horrible mix of panic and like hope, but deep down I knew it was already too late. She described it as the worst mistake she's ever made. I've made quite a few mistakes, and you guys have luckily been here for it, so you can call me out on those. Lock in wife when prices are up. Can't get married in a bear market. Come on. Yeah, we're not going to get married immediately. My fiance and we are going to probably wait a year. Hopefully the market does turn around and we can make it something nicer. Right? Oh man. Yeah. Yeah. I probably would not even be comfortable if I had to pay for that whole wedding and all that comes with it. But yeah, I'm just excited to finally get that done. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I'm not going to lock her up, though. She's free to do what she wants, but she's got her own job as well. Tom explained that over the years, he used his e-wallet that he had first gotten into back in 2013 when he first bought Bitcoin was now worth those 3 million pounds. But now without that device, the USB stick, his funds are completely inaccessible. So he did not back up the actual private keys somewhere else. He had no redundancies and, a real shame in this kind of situation. Tom has been amazing, said his wife. He hasn't shouted. He hasn't blamed me. That's good. Respect that, right? Good guy. But the silence says it all. That money could have been our future, a house, a holiday, everything. And I threw it out with a handful of junk mail. You replay it constantly. The moment you picked it up, the second it landed in the bin, I'd do anything to undo it. I never thought something so valuable could look so ordinary. That's how people don't even understand how digital things can have value. They can't wrap their heads around that at all, let alone a nice old USB stick with receipts worth millions of dollars. It's a different world that we live in, absolutely. If anyone out there is keeping money or anything important on a USB stick, please label it, lock it away. Don't make the same mistake I did. I would say that could be risky depending on, I guess, how public you are or something like that, because $5 wrench attack. Somebody could come after you and try to get that crypto. So there are different ways to protect your crypto. And either one, I think you have to look at your situation, your set of skills, and determine what's going to be right for you. Whether that is trusting a bank and the deposits and locking it up in a safe box, even though we have heard stories about safe boxes being ripped open without customers' consent, or whether you split up that key into some sort of mnemonic that you put up using, paintings around your house, or whether that's, you name it. A billion ways you could come up with how to store your crypto. But yeah, in this particular situation, how they did it, and without the communication, I guess he didn't tell her it was on this USB stick in there. This tragic situation occurred. USB sticks, hard drives, or devices storing cryptocurrency should be clearly labeled, securely stored, and never let loose in a drawer. In your situation, absolutely. It does not apply to everybody. I do want to add that, but yeah, it's good to reflect and try not to lose 3 million pounds. Again, I keep wanting to say dollars or euros, but pounds, right? Why don't the British just go over to the euro or come over to the dark side? Come to the dollar, guys. Or let's just all move forward and just start using crypto. Anyway, this is tinfoil hats on, guys. Everybody got their tinfoil hats. This is the conspiracy stuff going on right now. And this is not April Fool's. I can't believe this is real, but it is interesting. So Michael Saylor, apparently, according to books, Dao Kwon Do said Michael Saylor is a made-up name. His Wikipedia and his entire bio looks like it's made up. Just go down the rabbit hole. Can't even find any info about his parents or much info about his personal life. I've tried ChatGPT, Grok, deep search on Google, and nothing. Looks like a CIA psyop, in my opinion, an industry plant. How can we not find out much information about one of the richest people in the USA? So then you're going to find comment after comment talking about how strange it is. Saylor's backstory is definitely sus. Got to do more digging. It's the CIA trying to take control of crypto by putting this puppet in there who suddenly is the most knowledgeable person in the world about Bitcoin in the room with the president right now. Damn, this is very sus. How can this man be the BTC maxi with millions in BTC and have so little info out there? Yeah, maybe his bio is scrubbed due to public relations and PR firms that are trying to do that. Someone actually down here even gave out a whole biography that they looked at like they copied and pasted. Where was that? How far down did I go, or did I pass it? Anyway, they talk about graduating from, I believe it was an Ivy League school. He was born in 1965 in Nebraska, and then founded companies, right? And then moved on to eventually found MicroStrategy and then MicroStrategy. Or maybe he finded it. Maybe he actually found it. The CIA placed it in his lap. And Simon Dixon said of Bank to the Future, this was a conclusion, someone else I had interviewed a while back, this was the conclusion I came to as well. I can't prove it yet, but his rise follows the same familiar pattern we've seen time and time again with the classic entrepreneur agent story. Damn, I gotta read some of these. Anybody got any recommendations, some novels? Put them down in the description below. Or maybe we're wrong. Maybe it is out there, this information. What was his childhood like? Back then in the 60s, I mean, it was not so common for people to put up pictures on Instagram. So there just probably is less data out there that he especially wouldn't want out there for privacy reasons and so on. I do respect people for having their privacy, right? I don't think this should all be out there. But it would be nice to get a few more details, I guess, about Michael Saylor out here. So that's our tinfoil hat theory for today. And folks also sharing this video on the cryptocurrency subreddit. I just found it. This was posted 3 days ago by 002Timmy, 002 Timmy. Why can't Vitalik be normal in public just once? Let's check it out. I think, yeah, I mean, obviously he might be on the spectrum. He's allowed to have fun however he wants. But I actually think he's from the future. I think he's just like encountering a robot dog that he used to have, and it's bringing him past life, alternate life memories. I don't know, whatever. That's a cool looking dog though. I think he's just getting ready for the day that we are able to have these kinds of dogs. I believe it was in San Francisco. I could be mistaken. No, it was in China. There was some sort of sporting event I heard about yesterday. And in the bleachers, they had cops, two of them, two different models. And these cops were models. They were robots. So they had a humanoid robot that could move, I think, up to 5 miles an hour. And they had a dog robot as well on patrol that could move up to 10 miles an hour with extremely sensitive LiDAR information and pathing. And yeah, I think many of us could outrun the humanoid one, but could we outrun a robot dog? Better we befriend them. So I think that's why Vitalik is making allies with our brethren out here. Sniffing robot dogs' butts. Yeah, I'd rather sniff a robot dog's butt than a real dog's butt. So, yeah, there's going to be that use case for sure. Hey, Josh, it's not that woman's fault. Oh, you guys are talking about that story, Peter, as well. She threw away the hard drive with the crypto. Should always have a backup, much safer location. Yeah, mistakes happen. I respect really the husband here for not coming down on her hard. It goes to show the character because, I mean, you hear so much about assaults and emotional abuse. Is a very real thing. I think that is definitely a kind of assault if you're doing that regularly, but he's just sitting in silence. What else could you do? Oh man, painful. Yeah, has to be a fake story. Who leaves $3 million lying around? You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised, Peter, how many crypto bros leave their wallets laying around. I don't think like $3 million in cash or pounds in cash is something you're going to see. But substantially more than that, you'll find that a lot of crypto folks do have just a very normal looking object holding the keys to life fortunes, generational fortunes, right? And here's our quote of the day by Stuart Brand, someone who apparently had a documentary about 4 years ago that came out about his life. Maybe I want to check it out after reading his Wikipedia page. He's a writer, and he is a project director or manager, and he has done such things as trying to get Earth, the first pictures of Earth out in everybody's hands because he felt like it would change. Having that perspective of the entire Earth for the first time in front of folks around the world would change how we all perceive the Earth. I don't know that it definitely did that much change since we already knew the Earth was round. Not to disrespect any flat earthers out there, but definitely someone who has done quite a bit of thinking on maybe too much LSD. But here is Stuart Brand. Once a new technology rolls over you, if you're not part of the steamroller, you're part of the road. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't have to tell that to you guys. You obviously care about cryptocurrency and understand the steamroller there. But there's obviously the other one, the elephant in the room, AI. And so learning how to use it, something that when I interviewed Griff Green, if you checked out that interview recently, he was big about start using agents, check them out because you don't want to be left behind. That's really the big thing. And you're seeing it spring up more and more around crypto, open source models and the like. So however you do it. And how I chose to do it today was by going ahead and asking O3 Mini High to give me an overview of the news with my secret prompts that I'm not going to share with you guys. So let's take a look at that. Let's just maybe look through some of this. It's kind of lengthy, but it is informational. See what I missed and I didn't get to talk about. So that was my report. Now let's see AI Omar, or me reading the AI's words with my prompt as to what is going on right now so we can get a bigger picture here. And as always, position appropriately. Jackknife, it's always a treat indeed, man, when Griff is here. I have not gotten the dang ENS. Man, but he did ask me for my emails to send them to me. Maybe he did. I think he did. I got to go check that out. I might have to renew those. Anyways, thanks for the reminder, Jackknife. So here's our report. Let me see. Let me pull that up here. There it is. Crypto market report, April 1st, 2025 today. The crypto market is kicking off the second quarter of 2025 on shaky ground. Bitcoin is trading around the low $80,000 after a brutal late March sell-off that erased over $160 billion in market value. Ethereum is stuck near $1,800 to $1,900, having sharply underperformed Bitcoin for months now. The market's bleeding came from a cocktail of macroeconomic headwinds and profit-taking at the end of Q1. Tariff threats, global growth fears, and the lack of fresh bullish catalysts fueled the fear. Right now, sentiment is shaky. The crypto fear and greed index is at 34, sitting firmly in fear territory. Still, history shows a glimmer of hope. April has traditionally been one of Bitcoin's strongest months, averaging a 27% return since 2010. And remember, if Colin talks crypto and his chart that we looked at in the last video rings true, then May should also be great as well. So how great would it be to get an amazing April run followed by May? Long-term hodlers aren't panic selling either. That's potentially reducing sell pressure, but no one's blindly optimistic. Key technical levels are in focus. Bitcoin's facing resistance around 88,000 to 90,000, with tenuous support shaky at $80,000. A break below $80,000 could accelerate losses, opening the door to 70K. But reclaiming the upper 80Ks would bring bulls back in force. For Ethereum, the immediate hurdle is regaining $2,000. Its weakness relative to Bitcoin has dragged the ETH BTC ratio to 0.022, a 5-year low. In short, the market is standing at a crossroads, caught between seasonal optimism and heavy macro clouds. The bigger picture, trade war chaos and economic jitters. Much of the recent volatility traces back to the renewed U.S.-China trade war ignited by President Trump in his first months back in office. Tariffs ranging from 10 to 25% slammed imports from China, Mexico, and Canada in early March, triggering retaliation from China and the EU by mid-March. Markets everywhere buckled. Even Bitcoin fell in tandem with stocks despite its digital gold reputation. By mid-March, the U.S. Treasury signaled a softer tone, hinting at negotiable tariffs. Bitcoin briefly rebounded to 88K, but the rally didn't last. The tariff storm lingered. Gold prices, on the other hand, soared past $3,000 an ounce. There it is, gold, strength. As traders fled to safety, the Federal Reserve's March meeting added more uncertainty, holding rates steady but acknowledging tariff risks. Bond yields stay elevated, pinching risk assets across the board. On the policy front, crypto was suddenly on the national stage. The White House hosted a crypto summit in early March, stirring wild speculation about a possible U.S. Bitcoin reserve strategy. No formal announcement followed, but the chatter alone swung markets wildly. Meanwhile, U.S. states moved faster. Actually, that is wrong right there. We did get the executive policy, which says that members, the U.S. Crypto Task Force and others are providing a report to the president on his desk about how to best proceed forward with some sort of strategy for a Bitcoin reserve. Meanwhile, the U.S. states move faster. California advanced a Bitcoin rights clause, love this, to protect self-custody, while Texas proposed tax incentives for Bitcoin miners to use flared gas. Across March, 13 states pushed crypto-friendly legislation. Federal regulators remain quiet, but the groundwork for clear rules is quietly building. Globally, there's less noise, but plenty in motion. Europe's MiCA crypto regulations are set to come into force later this year. These are not nearly going to be as positive as I think we hope for here in the United States. China's crypto ban remains intact, though its state-backed digital currency trials are expanding. Debates over privacy coins and unhosted wallets continue, but U.S. trade policy and legislation are currently driving market sentiment far more than anything overseas. Market headlines. Who's buying? What's crashing? but AI doesn't shill its AVAX bags. Close call, but I'm still going with Omar. I actually have zero AVAX. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe I should, but like I've said, I'm really only in Bitcoin and Ethereum these days. Not even AVAX. Yeah. Anyway, I can shill coins that I don't hold, guys. I can do it. Without being paid. In the middle of all this chaos, Michael Saylor doubled down hard. He just bought more Bitcoin. Yeah, I didn't make that announcement because I got exhausted of doing it, but here's the AI sharing it. His company Strategy, formerly MicroStrategy, bought the Bitcoin dip, grabbing over 22,000 Bitcoin for nearly $2 billion at an average price of 86,969. Jeez, 6969. So many 6 9s. That brings their total stash to 528,000 Bitcoin, over 2.5% of the total Bitcoin supply. Saylor's message: the dip is a healthy reset, not the end of a bull run. Strategy's move immediately pushed their holdings into a $7.7 billion unrealized profit. So good timing on that one. At the same time, Circle, the company behind USDC, filed for an IPO to go public on the New York Stock Exchange. We spoke about that. Their financials show $1.67 billion in revenue last year, mostly from interest on USDC reserves. This IPO marks another milestone in crypto's marriage with traditional finance. Meanwhile, altcoins and DeFi took a beating on April 1st. Several small-cap altcoins suffered flash crashes. ACT token ACT tanked 58% in minutes, triggered by a cut in Binance margin lending and... Are we still good? What the heck was that? My graphics card just like spazzed for a second there. Anyway, so ACT token being driven down by apparently a cut in Binance margin lending and liquidations cascading subsequently through the market. It was messy, but contained major assets like Bitcoin barely buzzed. However, DeFi hacks continue to bleed the space. March saw $22 million in losses from exploits. Dang, and then you have this one couple losing 3 million pounds. That's quite a percentage, right? Compared to the DeFi hacks that month. Ouch. Don't show them these statistics, guys. Down from February, but if they had their coins locked up, no, that wouldn't have helped. They still need the keys. Never mind what I was about to say. Down from February's jaw-dropping $1.4 billion in losses due to exploits. So $22 million, much better, but still ugly for March versus February. Analysts warned that if security doesn't improve, DeFi could be cooked. In the NFT world, the market remains ice cold. Bybit announced it's shutting down its NFT marketplace this month, signaling consolidation across the sector. Solana, once the meme, this is really, this statistic that it found was really striking to me. Solana, once the meme coin casino, saw decentralized exchange volumes crater from $34 billion in January to under $1 billion in March. So over 2 months, dropping from $34 billion down to $1 billion in volumes. I haven't verified that, but if true, ouch. Its native token Sol is down about 35% year to date, but still outperforming Ethereum. Legal cleanup is ongoing. FTX, MT Gox, Celsius all still grinding through bankruptcy resolutions. On a positive note, Coinbase and others have ramped up political lobbying to shape crypto legislation. Enforcement actions from the SEC and CFTC were notably absent last week, which is a relief after the crackdowns of 2024. I mean, beyond that, the SEC pardoned folks like Haley Welch as well, who was surrounding her Hawk token, dropping the case against her. That, I think, upset some folks from what I could see around the conjecture today surrounding crypto and the cryptocurrency space, that were not happy to see her let off the hook despite this rug pull that affected so many individuals. But whatever. Anyway, good for her. Bitcoin holding the line. She's only by the way, only 22. I think it is a shame when someone can barely be called an adult. They're just entering maturity, really. They have very little experience, let alone in the crypto space, and they made a big boo-boo, right? I don't think it was intentionally meant to harm folks. She probably just didn't know better. Maybe some members of her team did. So that's where I stand on the matter. I mean, good for her. Do better, right? And I don't think there should be much second chances, of course. Bitcoin starts April in the low 80,000s, down about 5% from March. And how are you guys feeling about this stuff? Do you guys appreciate this AI report as we're going through it? Do you think that it provides value to you guys? Do you think that when I insert my little comments, it is a distraction? I would like to know from you guys your feedback on this kind of content as I go forward here. Since you're a big part of how this channel develops, is what you guys think about it and what makes you want to come back, of course, since I appreciate y'all here. So anyway, it touched $90,000 Bitcoin earlier last month before the tariff drama hit, and it plunged to a $79,000 local low, now holding steady around $82,000, although we're higher than that today. That's still 35% off its all-time high above 120K, but well above the 60K range where 2025 began. Yeah, we've come a long way. The key in so little time. The key levels are clear. 80K support, 88 to 90K resistance. 80K is psychologically important. Trading desks, whales alike are watching it. And the AI agents. If Bitcoin breaks above $88,000, expect a quick push toward $95,000. If it loses 80K, the next stop is likely 75K to 70K. I feel that. Arthur Hayes is still pounding the table for 110K in the near term, citing Fed liquidity and market structure. On the bearish side, options traders have been buying puts for 70K, hedging against further downside. Yet Bitcoin ETF saw $744 million in net inflows last week. Not bad, almost $1 billion, suggesting institutions are quietly accumulating during this panic. By the way, I believe the fear ingredient index we had mentioned is at 34, so very much still kind of this kind of panic for most folks. Bitcoin dominance is near 60%, a classic signal of flight to quality behavior in crypto. Ethereum in the shadows. Ethereum's had a rough 2025, trading around $1,900 now. It's down roughly 50% from its Q1 highs and has underperformed Bitcoin badly. The ETH/BTC ratio fell to 0.022, its weakest since 2020 again. Historically, Ethereum outpaces Bitcoin in the year after a halving. This time, that pattern is broken, it appears. Why the slump? Macroeconomic stress has investors fleeing to Bitcoin as the safer asset. Ethereum is treated more like a tech stock. Higher risk, higher reward, and lately, less reward. Layer 2 networks like Coinbase's Base have also diluted demand for ETH itself, shifting activity away from the main chain. Yeah, certainly. If you don't need as much ETH, you only need it in and out, really, then that means less demand for ETH, which is why some folks aren't so happy about Layer 2 networks, despite their promises of lower fees and faster throughput. There's hope, though. Ethereum's Spectra upgrade is coming soon, possibly late April or May. It promises better scalability, cheaper fees, and a smoother staking experience. Testnets have been running since February. If Spectra lands without a hitch, ETH could finally regain momentum. And we're almost there, guys. We're getting there. The sentiment right now is cautiously hopeful. Redditors and traders are betting on a potential alt season between April and June, pointing to historical cycles where altcoins explode after Bitcoin runs. So this is saying we could see an alt season starting in April, this month, that will take us through the summer, where Bitcoin will kind of take a step back and let the rest of the market explode and have its chance. On the flip side, if Bitcoin dominance keeps climbing and Spectra hits snags, ETH could revisit $1,500. Realistically, ETH claiming $2,000 would signal a recovery. A grind toward $3,000 by summer is possible if the broader market holds together and the upgrade delivers. But a fresh macro shock could drag ETH back to the 1500s. Hello, darkness, my old friend. The key short-term range is $1,700 to $2,300. And the last two smaller sections here. Community buzz and memes, crypto, Twitter, and Reddit have been their usual chaotic selves. April Fool's Day was full of fake headlines from GameStop buying Bitcoin, apparently buying not 1.67 billion, but buying $1.67 trillion worth of Bitcoin. Yeah, right. To Michael Saylor moonlighting as a superhero saving the market. He tries to do that every day, I feel like. Trump memes were everywhere, with the tariff pump and dump theme taking over. Behind the jokes, the community is split, some calling for an imminent alt season, others convinced the cycle is different, heavier regulation, heavier macro pressure, and the road ahead, the final bit. Here's the bottom line. For Bitcoin, the next few weeks hinge on the $80,000 support. If that holds and macro tensions ease, $95,000 is in play by mid-quarter. A push above $90,000 flips the trend. If things unravel, Bitcoin could see the $70,000 levels fast. For Ethereum, the Spectra upgrade is everything. If it ships cleanly and market sentiment improves, ETH could claw its way back above $2,500. If not, some sort of issue, delays, I really don't think this matters that much to the price. I'm going to put that out there. AI. But anyway, if not, and if Bitcoin keeps sucking the air out of the room, ETH may keep bleeding. As always in crypto, expect the unexpected. True. Volatility is the game. True. The market is nervous, but not broken. True. The question now is whether this spring brings the next leg higher or another gut punch. Ooh, miss an opportunity there for some sort of like, I don't know, soliloquy sonnet, right? Talking about spring, since so many sonnets are around seasons and weather and everything else anyway. Or blooming during spring. Do better, AI. I got to get a better prompt out here. It's always about the question. It's not the answer. It's the question, my friends. And the question is, are you guys going to join me for the next video? I surely hope you do, and I hope that you hit that subscribe button in order to get notified when we do go lives. Make sure that bell icon is clicked and you have notifications on for YouTube and this channel specifically. So, and you can turn off any others that bother you if those notifications bother you. But yeah, I want to see you guys here. Keep the chat as lively as it was today. Thank you guys, Jackknife, Peter, Day, what's up? Bitcoin changed my life. Raj, so good to see you, man. If you're still out there, thank you for joining me here for this update. Let me know what you think about these kinds of reports at the end from the AI, and if that, again, provides value to you. I look forward to reading the comments about this later on. I do read every single comment, even if I don't get a chance to respond to them, so be aware of that. And I send all of you guys my love, my blessings, and wishes for health, wealth, prosperity, survival, and thrival. Take care, guys. Much love, and stay cryptic. Peace.